Hello, my friends, and welcome to MSP Unplugged. I'm your host, Rick Smith. This is the place to learn tips, tricks, and strategies to help you run and grow your IT service business. Whether you're a one person shop or leading a team for the journey, this is the place for you. Want to give a welcome to our sponsors of this episode. First is Hunters. Hunters allows you to deploy managed detection and response for endpoints and identities in minutes. Powered by custom built technology for SMBs and expert analysis in their 24/7 operations center. Head over to hunters.com/unplugged to find out more. And SuperOps. SuperOps is the AI powered PSA RMM platform designed for fast growing MSPs. They provide a lean and powerful way to engage with clients and grow your revenue. Head over to the link in our show notes to start your trial of superops.ai. And I want to give a thanks to both of our sponsors there. Now, my co-host who's normally here, Mr. Paco LeBron, he's out. He's doing some behind-the-scene work, and that work is being done on our big event that's coming up, and that's TechCon Unplugged 2024. This is our 5th annual gathering of TechCon Unplugged. This is going to be taking place in the greater Washington, D.C. area, September 12th to the 14th at the hotel at Arundel Preserve. Now, TechCon is our annual gathering of IT business owners, technicians, vendors, and friends of the industry. There you get to join these like-minded people for a weekend packed with resources to help your IT business thrive. Your ticket will include 25 plus educational sessions, 2 networking events, and after hours entertainment, all expo hall meals, refreshments, and happy hours, automatic interest into general show raffles and giveaways. And then you get to also walk away with some concrete action to take your business to the next level. Now, tickets are on sale now. We have some discount tickets that will end on May 15th. So we encourage you to head over to techconunplugged.com, and we look forward to seeing you there. All right. Now, a fun little solo today. As I say, Paco's out. He's doing some behind the scenes work, working very hard on TechCon Unplugged. But I thought it was important to do a follow up on some things that's been going on. As we talk about this is tips, tricks, and strategies to help you run, grow your IT service business. But it's also lessons learned that we get, that we try to pass on, things we've learned from other MSPs, or things we found out on our own, or just experiences that have happened. Now, a couple of months ago, I did a show called It Starts With You, and I talked about some of the changes that was going on with Renactus technology, and how I realized that a lot of the bottleneck in the business was really me. Just getting out of my own way, getting out of my people's way to let them do their job. So I wanted to give kind of an update on what's been going on, some progress. Things are still a work in progress, but nevertheless, there has been some progress, and been some new learnings, and I just wanted to pass them on to you. Now, I've been focusing a lot, as I told you all before. One of the things we wanted to do was focus on the process, processes and procedures of the company, to get it all down on paper, to use documentation a lot better, to not only take some of the burden off of me, or take the business out of my head, and really put it on paper, put it there, so that everyone who comes in and steps into a role at Renactus Technology has a resource to go to help them figure out what's what, how we do things, what's going on. And quite frankly, as I said, the business was built. I've been doing this for 20 years, and let's say for 19 and a half, the business is here. It's in my head. I haven't put much down on documentation. It's always been the goal of mine to do so, but things just keep getting in the way. I keep finding other reasons just to continue working as I am, and it creates a real cluster word that that sometimes we run into when we're trying to get things done. It wreaks havoc on the admins, on the techs, on myself. Just simple things like when you're trying to solve a problem, and you've had an issue that you've run into a couple of times already, and you've Googled the problem, or someone's giving you the problem, or you find an article or KB to help you solve the solution, or you've figured it out, and we don't document it, or we just save it and it goes in a documents folder, but we have no idea where. And so then when a problem comes up again, we're scrambling to find it or redo the whole process all over again. So I made a commitment to myself, to the business, that I was going to do a lot better of getting us prepared, putting us in the right direction, and getting these things on paper. So I will say, I've been doing that. We're still a work in progress, but the the results are 100% turnaround from where we were just a couple of months ago. So I'm very proud of that. Now, two books I've read that have really played a major role in helping me figure this out, helping me come to some conclusions with this. One is called 10X is Easier Than 2X. It's by Dan Sullivan. Um, Really, what this book teaches you is to focus on the 20% that's important in your business. We all know the 80/20 rule. And when I examined how I was doing things, trying to perfect procedures, trying to perfect policies, trying to perfect how we do things, how to grow the business, how to market, how to, talk to clients or whatever the case may be, we always seem to have put more emphasis on the bigger part of it, on the 80%. And we all know that the 20% is what really drives our business. So the basically the concept of this book really is to focus on the 20%. And when you focus on perfecting, improving, that 20%, your results are not 2x, they're 10x. You focus on 10x in your business. So this is something that, I've taken to, I've looked at it. I think it's something that could be helpful for a lot of us out there, particularly if you're in this point where you're trying to grow the business and it seems like sometimes you're just in this constant loop of you know of of having an idea, wanting to perfect it, or wanting to not even perfect, that's the wrong word, because that is also a killer, because perfection is the enemy of the good, right? Or whatever that saying is, don't let the perfection be don't let the good be the enemy of the perfect, or however it goes. I don't know. Somebody could correct me and tell me what it is. But but the concept basically is the same thing. It's making sure that we're not so focused on doing getting everything perfect, that we don't take the time to work on the actual problem, because we're trying to get the solution to be perfect, right? So this is where I'm coming from with this. So the book really talks about focusing on that 20% and using that 20% to help increase your business tenfold as opposed to twofold. And this is not, I'm not talking about just revenues, but I'm talking about general results of anything you're looking for. If you focus on that 20%, that is what really drives things, you'll get a 10 times result. And that's the gist of the book. So I highly recommend it. Again, it's called 10X is Easier Than 2X. It's by Dan Sullivan. The second book I've been reading that I read through was a really quick reading. I actually read it twice and bought the audio book as well. And this is called Process and the Other P, which is process as well. This book is by Alan Edwards. Some of you probably know the name. He's over at Eureka Processes, which is, they also have, if anyone's looking for just, if you're starting out with documentation or looking for some um, some good ideas on what you should be documenting, how you should be documenting. That's probably one of the bigger things, is just how things should be done. And I'll talk about that in a minute. But the book itself gives you a great foundation, and Eureka Processes and some of their templates and some of their offerings really help if you're looking for something like that. Now, I'm going to take a step back now and go to where and what I've been trying to do. Um, One of the things, as I say, I want to get the business out of my head. I want to be able to put it on paper. I want to not have to be the end all be all of Renactus technology. And I also want to stop being the bottleneck of Renactus technology, because if I have all the data, all the knowledge, when I'm looking for, when my techs or my admin, when anyone in the company is looking to do anything, they have to come to me first. That just slows things down. It creates really, it creates a bottleneck that doesn't need to be there, right? So, and also it creates more stress on me as a business owner, because I always have to be present, I always have to be around, or at least make myself available to everyone at all times. And that's just not, it's not a good quality of life for anyone. So the goal was to get the business out of my head, put it on paper, and also include those who are also doing the work with me, to give me ideas, to give me feedback, right? I reach out to the community all the time. I talk to techs and business owners and professionals and vendors for ideas. But one of the greatest sources of information and ideas is those who work in your business, right? Because they see everything every day. They may have some suggestions on what might be a better way to do some things or a better way to approach some things, or they might be doing some things differently than you do. You just don't pay attention to it, and they're more effective. So my goal was to sit out and um, have that discussion and be free about it and say, hey, if I'm not doing something right, or if you have a better way of doing something, you know, feel free to add it to the documentation. Feel free to tell me about it. Feel free to say, hey, this is a better way for us to do this. And here's why. Because again, as I always say, we don't know all the answers. I don't know all the answers. And you don't know what you don't know, as John Davinsky would always say. So we set out to really make documentation a focal point of the business, right? Everything needs to be documented. Everything needs to be somewhere where we can access it. Now, whatever, I'm not going to tell you what documentation software to use. I'm not going to tell you, what to document, what not to document. That's going to be totally up to you and your business, right? We happen to have found that Hoodoo works well for us. So that's where I'm at the moment. Now, as everyone knows, I'm also a user of SuperOps. So SuperOps has a very good documentation setup as well, built into the RMM PSA. I will take a look at that, but right now, Hoodoo offers me everything I want, plus the integrations that it gives. Works with a lot of the things we use, so it really helps. Now, I go back to how you document or what you document, right? And Eureka process was a great help with this, with just giving you ideas. There's things like naming conventions. How do you name things? How do you separate um articles and KBs and information that is necessarily for for company wide, for Renactus, for the text, for the admins, for all of those things, and then things that are necessary for that are client facing for our clients who actually may use the portal, right? Those are some things we think about. um just general, how do we do everything? So the first thing that we learn to do, which is very interesting, I got this from Eureka processes, is how do you document what you document, right? So this is the first step in this. And so now we have that is our main thing that we go through, so everyone knows now this is how we document everything. This is the name convention we're going to use. This is where it's going to go. This is things like company wide things like on client onboarding, new employee onboarding, um, sales scripts, uh, how we answer the phone, what are our goals and values. All of those things are now written down and they're accessible. And the reason that they are that way is that we're trying to do things one way. I shouldn't have to say it one way and then you talk to the admin or you talk to a tech and they're telling you something different, right? We should approach the job or approach how we do things one way, so that when I'm trying to change a password or the techs are trying to change a password or somebody's trying to do whatever, we're doing it the same way. The client gets consistency and we get consistency in how we do things. So that's been very important. It's been a very big help, um for us, just getting this on paper, just getting it down. And then actually the great thing about it is now seeing it, right? Now, so now, before it was, we got to get it down, we got to get it down. Now you see it. So now when we're doing work, when we're talking to a client, when anything comes up, we can pull up some policies and procedures. We're by no means done. We're still doing, it's still a work in progress, but the little we've done has made a huge impact on us, and it saved us time, energy, and stress. Because now we don't spend the time looking for something that we've already done 100 times that's right in front of us. We don't, we're not basically wasting energy doing that. And there's no stress now because we're trying to meet a deadline for a client or meet a deadline for something because now we have it right in front of us. So, this is where we are. It's the start of something that we hope to, we are hope to have it completed by the end of this quarter, by the end of second quarter. We're right now in the beginning of May. So we're being optimistic and saying May and June we should have everything down. Now this will be a live document, meaning it will change, it will evolve, as things change, as situation changes, as we improve our processes, this will change and help us. But I say to anyone when when we're thinking about how do we become more efficient, how do we run our business, particularly if you're smaller, right? If you're one, two, three, four-person shop, actually, I take that back. No matter what size you are, it's always good to have these policies, procedures, um, articles, references, whatever it may be, at your fingertips to help you, right? So that has been my energy has gone there this the first quarter, and it's still there the second quarter. We are making great strides with it. Like I said, the goal is to have what we consider to be everything that we have up to date, everything that we would know and be doing. We expect to have that all in by June, by the end of June, and then continue from there to just work through and try to improve on that from there. Again, like I said, it's a live document, so we'll keep adding to it, making changes, as the situations grow. Now the second part of this is when I talk about the 10x is greater than 2x. We excuse me, it's easier than 2x. It's some of the changes in policies and procedures, but in what we are now looking at as a company, right? As what what we are now, what our goals are, what we're focused on, who we're focused on. As I told you before, we were changing the client minimums, changing who we're targeting and how we're targeting them, and that's still the case. But what we've also done is we've talked to every client in Renactus technology that we service now. We've made them aware of what we're doing. One of the things we made a big effort to do in the first quarter was realize what each client is being offered. So we basically went through a spreadsheet of everything that we offer, and then with that, a list of every client that we service that has a managed service contract. And of all of those offerings, where does this put an X if that client has it, if it has it. So then we realize where we have opportunities. Basically, a lot of it came down to VoIP, a lot of it came down, some other things, some email security, some just a couple of different things. Some clients we weren't even handling their email, and what that helped us do was recognize opportunities for us to target with our in-house clients already. To that does two things, right? It helps us to, one, increase revenue as we talk to these clients and bring on these other services that we offer that we should be handling, but also it helps to consolidate what we're doing and who the client needs to go to for what, right? It's one thing, we realized that we had three clients. We were running all of their MSP stuff, right? All of their computers, their servers, users, tickets, everything. But we were not running their email. We did not have the email. They had the email somewhere else. And whether that fell through the cracks or we just never cared or whatever, that's a golden opportunity for us. It also plays into the security that we offer the client, because we all know the importance of email and how that affects security and breaches and ladder. So we were able to have those conversations. Two of those clients moved email to us. The third we're still working on. And we are going to go to this strategy that if we can't control that, then we can't do business with, right? And the reason being is we don't want to spread out the risk. We don't want to we put ourselves in a compromising situation when I say, hey, I'm only responsible for the computers. I'm only responsible for the network and everything that comes in. But if you get an email in and it affects everything, that's on your guy or that's on you. It basically it makes it hard for us to manage the system, right? It makes it hard for us to really be a complete IT management company and to really better service the customer. So we've explained that to them. It wasn't a big deal with the first two. One didn't even realize that they were paying someone else for email for the email security. Um, but two of those came along. The third one is going through some doing their own due diligence, I guess, to figure it out. But we'll wait it out a little bit. But as we told them, if we can't, do this by the end of the quarter, then it's probably going to be the best idea is going to be for them to move the rest of their business that they're doing with us somewhere else. Now, and this is as a decent sized client, but the fact of the matter is, again, efficiency, security, and protecting ourselves is important, right? We want to be efficient for our clients and ourselves. We want to um, be productive for them, and we want to protect ourselves. So, that's just the route we're going with that right now. Now, again, what I get from that is I get the we, excuse me, I say I, but we get from that a holistic approach to how we're approaching our clients. Just like we're making this shift with our documentation, making this shift with our policies and procedures, we get that we're letting everyone fall into what our value system, right? And what we're here for. We're here to protect the client, to keep them as safe as possible. And it's not on, I hate to say it this way, but it's not on their terms that we keep them safe. It has to be on the terms that we set. It has to be the terms that are right. Now, right for the client, of course, but they have to be our terms. And that's just important. We cannot let them dictate how we do it or what we do. Just the same way you can't go to your doctor and dictate, you know, how he's going to treat you or what kind of medication he can give you and what kind of medication he's not when he's supposed to be the expert or he or she is supposed to be the expert, right? Now, of course, there's some, medically, there's some things we don't want to take and things like that, and I get it. But the concept is there. I hope the concept is clear with that. I'm going to take a quick break, give a word for our sponsors, and we'll come back, and then I'll just wrap this up.
Are you tired of dealing with outdated PSA RMM solutions that come with a hefty implementation cost, complicated setups, and pricing structures that don't quite fit your needs? It's time to make a change. Meet SuperOps, a future-ready PSA RMM platform that streamlines IT operations, enhances customer support, ensures security, and boosts client satisfaction. With SuperOps, you get a PSA, RMM, IT documentation, network monitoring, and project management all in one place. Automation of repetitive tasks, enhanced productivity, and reduced errors. You get actionable insights with proactive monitoring to prevent issues. And one of my favorite things, dedicated support from a team committed to your success. SuperOps also offers transparent pricing, putting you in control of your costs. So, what are you waiting for? Try SuperOps today for free and evaluate your MSP operations.
Over the last 7 years, my MSP has partnered with Huntress as our go to security platform, detect suspicious endpoint activity, and uncover hidden adversaries. If you've heard recently on several tech news outlets and subject matter experts, they're all saying the same thing. You have to have an EDR. That's why we've partnered with Huntress. I cannot tell you how many times we've onboarded a client through the agent on and all the fun that we found for us to clean up. It's no wonder why Huntress has been awarded one of the leading security solutions by G2. You'll hear comments like peace of mind or Huntress, the company that has your back. It's all thanks to their experts in their 24/7 SOC. It's the needed second set of eyes that we need. Not to mention, you receive detailed incident reports packed with expert insights written for all skill levels. To find out more, head over to huntress.com/unplugged for a trial so you can deploy in minutes with zero user disruption. Tell them that we here at MSP Unplugged sent you.
All right. Thank you, Huntress, and thank you, Super Ops. Now, just wanted to give a quick wrap up here because I don't want to drag this out. But I think probably the most important thing that I wanted to get out today with this recording here was really this. In your business, no matter what size you are, if you're the owner and you have, we've built the business, we're very proud of it, we hold on tight to things, but you can really become the bottleneck. You can become the deterrent to your growth, to the turn of your business's growth, to the turn of your employees' growth, which could lead you down a dangerous path. Now, this is something I've learned because I've been holding on tight. I've been keeping it all up top, not on purpose, but it's just the way I've always operated. And you find out that you're doing much more than you should be doing for both yourself, both you're both putting too much on yourself and then putting too much pressure on your employees because they get kind of lost. It's not fair to them. You hire them for a job and only give them half a job to do. And you will know that, some people will say, oh, that's cool. You pay me for 40 hours and I only work 20. But people who are ambitious, people who want to grow, who want to learn, who want to do well, they want the work, right? They want the opportunity to grow, to learn, to explore. And if they're genuinely good people or they genuinely like you, they want to see you grow because they know if you grow, they grow, right? And they want to see the business grow. So I've learned to get out of my own way. It's still a work in progress, but I remind myself about it all the time now. Get out of my way, let the people whose job it is do their job. And also it allows me to free myself up for other things, right? I am the face of this company. So I want to be out there. Maybe I should be out there, the term goes, shaking hands and kissing babies. But the bottom line is out there selling, growing the business, talking more about it, getting in, doing some things like some more webinars or doing some, going out doing presentations to events. Well, just really getting myself out there. I could be doing a lot more for the business to help the business grow. So that's just really the goal here, right? So I've learned that it's easier for me to focus on the 20% that is doing well and try to push that along and make that the focal point because that is where I'm going to get my real growth from. The second part of this is taking the business out of my head, putting it on paper, documenting it, having a Renactus technology way of basically it's the way we do business, right? How we do things, what we do it, why we do things. And now there's no question. We're all doing it the same way. There's consistency across the board. There's less chance now of us screwing things up or a client getting mixed messages or mixed signals because we're all on the same page. We're doing it the same way. It also, again, it gets the company involved. It gets everyone else who's doing their job an opportunity to contribute, to say, hey, this is what I've been doing that's been working, right? This is the way I do it. I know you said to do it this way, but I've fallen in the habit of doing it this way and it's worked, And as long as it's been successful, we really can't argue with it, right? Now, of course, we want to make sure that we are maintaining, our standards. We speak to people the right way. We approach things the right way. Um, but other than that, if as long as we are keeping things right, and keeping things on that consistent pattern, I think it'll be great, right? So this is where we are now. This is the growth we've experienced. And I got to say, for all the time and energy I put in on the first quarter for this, just to see it now on paper, out of my head and see it it somewhere else, and I don't have to spit it out anymore. It's a refreshing feeling. It's really just relieved. It's relaxing, and I know I'm excited now because I know once I get the rest of it out, and as we develop new things and new processes, new procedures, you know, it will just even be better. So, My advice to anyone, again, think about that. Think about getting your processes, procedures on paper. Again, make it a live document, make it all, encourage people to add to it, to change, to edit, whatever the case may be, just to get it right. And then the second part of this, again, focus on that 20% of your business where that's right. That's your growth is truly coming from. And this is not to say ignore the 80%, but don't give it as much don't give it the 80% of energy where we normally give it. Switch it. Give the 20%, the 80% of the rest of your energy, and give the 80%, 20% of your energy. And the results from that will just be spectacular. So again, in the show notes, I will give the 2 books that I talked about. 10X is easier than 2X, and Process and the Other P, which is Process. Both good books. They'll be down in the show notes. I want to thank you all for listening. And we do invite you to join us every Tuesday. We watch the video podcast on youtube.com/MSP Unplugged. Do us a favor, like, subscribe, hit the notification button so you'll be notified whenever a new episode's available. You can also take us on the go. We're on your favorite podcatcher apps. That's Amazon Music, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. For Paco and I, we want to thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time on MSP Unplugged.